It's hard to imagine, but sometimes tragic events like what we saw last weekend in Charlottesville sometimes spur fake charities and scams set up by people who would profit off of tragedy and people's intentions to want to do well. And so that's why it's really important for Virginians and everyone really to be smart about making their decisions on where to donate if they want to help victims who are in recovery or help families who are grieving the loss of a loved one. And the last thing anyone should have to worry about is whether their well-intentioned donations are really going to be used for the good purpose that they were intended. And we all know Virginians are caring people, they're big-hearted people, and it's really important that as they want to help their fellow citizens, that they thoroughly vet their decisions on which charities to contribute to. And if they ever have any questions about whether a campaign or a scampaign is legit, then feel free to call our Consumer Protection section. We'd be glad to help out.
What kind of warning signs are you telling people to look out for?
Well, we think it's important for folks who want to help those who are suffering to deal with well-known charities that they're used to dealing with, who are always out in the community helping people in need or responding to tragedies, and to thoroughly vet any campaigns or sites, and if they ever have questions about whether a charity is legit or a campaign is legit, to call our Consumer Protection section, and we are here to serve.
Most of these are coming up via GoFundMe and things like that. It's really kind of hard when you say, I'm the mother-in-law of the gentleman who was hit pushing his fiance out of the way. How can people legitimize those type of sites, because they're really hard-hitting when you read them?
Some of these campaigns really tug at your heartstrings, and Virginians are caring people and they want to respond to those who are suffering. But it's important to really vet those thoroughly. And you can always call our Consumer Protection section to make sure that it's legit, and work with charities that are familiar to them. And we're not aware of any of these scams that have been set up at this point in response to what happened in Charlottesville. And we're hoping that by getting this information out to consumers and people who want to help out, that none will set up. And we can stay focused on what we should be, which is helping those who are suffering or recovering, and to stand together as a community against hate and intolerance.
This is not saying that one situation is worse than another. We see this after a hurricane, after an apartment fire where dozens are displaced. This is after a deliberate attack. How upsetting is it that you still have to come out and warn against these people trying to prey upon a community going through what we saw Saturday?
It's hard to believe that there are people out there who would try to profit off of people's intentions to help those who are suffering and those who are grieving. So it's especially difficult to believe that could happen, but we have seen it. And so it's important to make sure that people are smart about making their donations so that we can stay focused on helping those who are grieving. There's some charities that we're familiar with that are always out there doing good work for the community and those in need. And if you ever have questions, contact our office.
What are the consequences to some of these people if they're found that they are part of this scam site?
Yeah. Well, our Consumer Protection section is working as hard as we can to identify financial fraud and scams. There are legal protections that can give us some tools to go in and get an injunction or to try to shut them down. But very often they set up and they're gone as quickly as they get set up. So if anybody has questions about whether they might have been taken advantage of, we need to know about it so that we can take a look into it and get information out to other consumers as quickly as possible so that others aren't taken advantage of.
What are some of, you keep mentioning these organizations who are always doing good. What are some of those big organizations that have already been, trusted by your office as a way where people can donate to help, help communities when something like this happens?
Well, there are a lot of recognized charities that are always responding to disasters like the Red Cross and others. I know that the Virginia State Police has set up a fund specifically to help the families of the two troopers who were killed in the helicopter crash on Saturday. So I would say to folks, stay with recognized organizations with which you're familiar And again, if you have any questions about whether it's legit, give our consumer protection section a call.